and you can see the product of that head. It's really difficult to tell when you're looking from this shot, like who's got an advantage, but really they're probably both going the same speed. And maybe, what do you reckon?
I liked the first few strokes from the Netherlands crew there. I think they just looked quite in control and quite strong. They took it away, they took the stern with them. That just caught my eye there.
I love the way that Dutch crews row. You know, I do think they have this sort of poise around the back turn. It looks a little hurried there in terms of they're up at high rate, but they do have a fluidity about their rowing. It's kind of, you know, beautiful rowing. The Americans there from Cornell, you see, they probably, well, it's a head-to-head. Your wish of a tight contest is being played out, isn't it? Yeah,
definitely. And I think actually those first few strokes that the Netherlands took looked very calm, and actually now, as you see them a little later out into the start, it's starting to look a little more frantic as both the boats are side by side, but very, very strong for both crews.
Stroke Niels Meyer there, just having a look at, he started rowing 4 years ago, the Dutch stroke, but he did really look centred quite in his core in terms of how he was just waiting for the blade at the catch just to lock, and I know that was a feature of how you and Heather Sanning rowed.
I think that's why the stern moved with him when he went off the start, and I think they're probably inching away maybe now, and I think that's key to it. You can see his core is just moving with the stern, and it's coming with him and just inching out there.
Listen, how do you do that catch? Because I know you are fearsomely quick, but you somehow you have a quick catch, but you let the blade breathe, and it's a real feature of your ability in the boat.
Yeah, it's a bit counterintuitive, isn't it? You want to move out of the catch quickly because you don't want your body weight sat there as dead weight slowing the stern down. But equally, if you move quickly, you're going to stop that stern. So it's really about having those strong abs, making sure your feet, your abs and the blade are connected before you move off.
So counterintuitive stuff there. Niels Meyer, we're looking at in the stroke seats, is really using that sort of patience well, counterintuitive, rather than hurrying onto the catch, locking the boat and then driving against that. It's taking the crew on the left, the men from University of Groningen with their female cox, Lynn van Tilburg. I was talking to her earlier. She looked very happy, appropriately nervous, a bit like you doing the commentary for the first time, Helen. But so far they have a useful lead, but Cornell are still in it. Still really sort of blades coming nice and flat. There's no deep blades there, and really moving the shell nicely too.
Yeah, there's nothing to suggest that Cornell are going to drop back at all. I think both crews are going to have to keep fighting, and Cornell are definitely going to. They're not making mistakes. They're not doing anything to kind of show that they're going to fall back at all.
Strokeman Costa Theodore, it's his first Henley Regatta, and he came 11th in the third varsity 8 at the IRA Championships. Of course, a contest, I think, probably won by Yale at first varsity 8s at least anyway, and there's a lot of experience in these boats. Groningen crew put together, as we've said, by Annemiek de Haan, the female Dutch Olympic rowing medalist from Athens, Beijing and London, now coaching. It's just given them that flow, it's just given them that sort of length lead, nearly clear water, but Cornell likewise pushing very, very well behind them.
Yeah, it's interesting to see that the things we picked up on just right on the start of these first few strokes, I think those are the little things that are giving them the distance all the way down the track. Just the same things, just around the front end. They're just getting an inch or two more on every single stroke. They're starting to pay out.
And you know, I think if you get the front end right, then the back end follows, and it does look the crew on the right just has that little bit more time on the back end because you're going to spend longer in the water.
Yeah, it's time in the water if you compare the two crews. When you get a stroke with the catch goes in together, it's just like a little bit longer with the blade in the water in the Netherlands crew.
So we're looking at race leaders from Groningen in the Netherlands, right up in the north of Netherlands, next to Germany, practically next to Germany, if you know the geography of that part of the world. And how much rowing in 8s have you done, Helen, in your time?
Not masses. I mean, we would occasionally jump into the 8 with the girls on the team, and obviously love racing 8-10 and things like that. So that's probably my main racing experience, was doing the head of the river, which was always good fun.
So as we watched Groningen come down, thanks to Detroit Rowing, who pointed out, I think, an error in commentary saying that Gonzaga was from Washington DC. In fact, they're from the state of Washington. Thank you so much for that tweet. We appreciate it. Keep your tweets coming into Henley Regatta. Not so many spectators today on the Wednesday in the open grandstand and the general enclosure. That'll fill up as the week progresses. I think the crowd's not bad for the first day.
It's pretty good, isn't it, considering it's a little bit cold and it's the first day. It looks pretty packed to me.
So there's a scene. The umpires launch. Heracles just cruising behind the race leaders from Groningen. And there is the man, Boris Rankov, one of the long-standing umpires at Henley, of course involved in controversy last year where he disqualified the Dutch crew, Neerhouse, when they raced Leander in the final of the ladies.
No, I'd hate to be an umpire. I just think it would be so stressful.
I wouldn't want to be an umpire, but I'd love criticising them.
Yeah, I'm sure you would.
Difficult decision last year. People on both sides had opinions about the rights and wrongs, but men took it in the best interest of the regatta, I think. Tried to uphold that as University of Groningen comes to the finish line, take that heat of the Temple Challenge Cup from the men from Cornell University B crew, United States of America. And there's a shot of Groningen as they just catch their breath.
Really nice rope from them, I thought.